we go, let's get those wheels out on the road. It may get dusty, but that's the way she goes. We'll build some greasy old cars and drink our AGT. Hey, don't you know, it's partly built.
Well, welcome back everyone. We're getting back to it on the 49 here. The breaker for the welder came today, but it wasn't the right one. So with some definitely not the code wiring, I have it installed until the correct one shows up in about a week. So we should be able to do some welding today. And because we can do some welding, we'll pull these brackets back off that I made for the spring hangers, and we'll weld the shackles to the bottom of them. We'll clean the frame up a little bit more, and we'll stuff it up in there, and we'll get them welded to the frame, and then we can start welding in the gusset plates that I've already kind of tacked in place and ground a little bit last time. And the good news is, when we go to grind this time, I actually remembered to bring hearing protection and eye protection, so we'll be a little bit safe. So, as you can see by the t-shirt, it was nice today. It got above freezing for the first time in a while. So, it's actually not that bad in here. You can still see my breath, but it's not uncomfortable when you're working. And the fan showed up for sitting on top of the wood stove, so we'll see how well it works. But in the meantime, I'll get after popping these plates back off. We'll get them set up on the fab bench, and we'll see if I can actually weld anything for the first time in my life decently. So let's get after it. Well, I'm definitely no professional welder, but I did a forehand and a backhand there, and honestly I'm pretty happy with them. So I'm going to weld these nuts on the bottom because I'm going to leave the bolts in and you'll never be able to access these nuts. And then put it back on and pull the other side off. Oh, and as you can also tell, the breaker makes a huge difference. So they're not perfect welds by any means, but for me they're pretty good. And with the bolts as well, I'm not worried. Okay, so I'm definitely getting better. If I could always weld like that, I'd be pretty happy. Okay, got it bolted back in. The spring is not binding, so let's do some more welding, I guess. there you go. It's all welded in except for the very bottom along the frame rail. I got to get a little better at welding before I try and do an overhead weld. But most of these welds actually came out really good. Like some of them, it was almost a shame to grind them off. But we got it all ground down, cleaned up, and ready for a coat of primer here. The only grinding I have left is on the inside of the frame where I welded it. But I'm not too concerned about that right now. So it's already 8 o'clock. And I don't feel like being out here till midnight. Because that was 2 hours of work to get that welded up, installed, welded in, and then all capped and welded and ground down. So I think that might be another night or this weekend job. And in the meantime, I'll get that primer on this and we'll call it a night. Well, welcome back everyone. It's been roughly a month and a half to 2 months since I've been in the garage. And just over a month since I went snowmobiling. So remember how I said in the last video that I kind of hurt my shoulder? Yeah, it turns out I broke my shoulder. So kind of why I haven't been in the garage. Technically I'm supposed to be in a sling. I'm not supposed to really use my left arm. And I wear the sling all day at work. I don't want to wear it at home. So we're going to try and get a little done out here, but we're going to try and take it easy. So as you were seeing earlier in this video from like a month and a half, 2 months ago, I was working on suspension front spring mounts in particular. So I think we'll just pick up there. It's also warmed up. For the last month, it's been roughly negative 30 Celsius, like between 25 and 35. So it's only like -2 right now. It's getting to highs above 0, so we're above freezing. So it's a lot nicer in here, but it's still colder in here than it is outside because the doors haven't been open. So I got the fire going, get a little bit of warmth in here, and I'm gonna put some music on in my ears, and we'll get started with mounting and welding in the second spring hanger, and then hopefully the front mounts are done and I can start working on rear suspension mounts, and then hopefully I get my axle back here in the next couple weeks and we can throw a front axle in it so that at least it's a movable car. And then hopefully once Josh gets off shift here, we can start working on the Galaxy, because Miles of Mayhem is less than 5 months away now. So yeah, we should probably get working on that one, because not only we're doing a frame swap, but we gotta swap the engine over, we gotta make the transmission fit, and then get a drive shaft, and then I'd love to put fuel injection on it instead of carburetor, and guess what, it needs a fuel tank, and I don't know, it's gonna need more horsepower, so we're gonna have to do something about that. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna clean up whatever mess we got going on in here, and then I'll get started on this suspension. Well, as you saw in the time lapse, if I kept it in there, I ran out of welding wire, so I welded as much as I could. I ground most of the sin away. I have a few more welds to do here. I cut this top plate, so I got to weld the back side of it. And of course I got to weld the bottom side of the frame on both of them. But that's not bad. I'm actually pretty happy with that. Well, I was hoping to keep working on the back hangers, but being as I ran out of welding wire, I'm gonna have to pick some up. Probably won't be tomorrow. If I'm honest, it probably won't be for the next week. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I gotta talk to Josh. Hopefully this weekend we can maybe get his shop kind of set up, or even start working on the Galaxy, which means, of course, starting by tearing down the Crown Vic. So yeah, I'm kind of sad I didn't get to do a little more here, but well, considering I've done nothing for the last month and a half, 2 months, it's actually a substantial amount of work. So I'll make sure to catch you guys in the next one. Hopefully it's a Galaxy video, but we'll have to see. And thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. We'll catch you next time.